What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Let's continue with the 1 point perspective drawing of the cityscape. Let's do a name on a building, maybe drawing a basic car in 1 point perspective, and maybe drawing a couple people walking. So come on back, let's have some fun. So last time we drew a few buildings, the street, the beginning of a street, the sidewalks, some of the details like windows and the door. Uh, if you didn't watch that video, it's the one video before this one, just basically for beginners drawing a cityscape using 1 point perspective. Remember, we're going to use the same vanishing point, and we're also going to put a name on a building uh, to make sure that the name is in 1 point perspective. You want to draw pretty much like a parallelogram. Um, if it's going to be on the side, that's going to the vanishing point. So let's say here we'll put the name in this area, and we want it to be about, I'm going to just mark off a couple places on the corner like this, and I will connect it to the vanishing point, and I will just one side of the building to the other. So with these two lines here, that is where the name is going to be. It's not going to come straight across. This way you'll make sure that it looks right in perspective. Now, if you're not sure how to make letters thicker, basically, I'll just show you here. What I've told students in the past is if you lightly write the letter, then all you have to do is draw around it, depending on if you want it to be round like so, or maybe if you want it more angular, you can still lightly write the letter and just lightly draw around it. This, I think, would be a good guideline. Again, for those of you that may not have done thick lettering, you kind of get the gist of what to do. So here, you also might want to decide on, is the name of the building going to go from one side to the other, or do you want to try to keep it kind of in between a little bit more? I guess it all depends on how long the name is. I'm not going to use a very long one. So let's say it will probably just be somewhat centered here. And I will lightly write the name I'm going to try and make sure that it just stays here. You'll notice that as the letters are getting closer to you, they should look like they're somewhat getting a little bit bigger. Now, again, like with the letters I'm doing here, it shouldn't look like you're writing it like how you normally would, because that would be more for here, not when it's at an angle. So here I have the name on the building. I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker now. And you, of course, can choose whatever kind of lettering you want. Here I'm just going for more of a rounded type of lettering. And actually the O would be really easy since I already have this here. To make it thicker, I'll just do that. And there we have our name on this building. And it is in 1-point perspective. We stayed within the borders. So let's draw a basic car 1-point perspective. First thing, let's kind of add in the lanes, because we could probably fit 2 lane, 1 lane here, 1 lane here. Let's come here to the bottom. We want just a little horizontal line here, and then connect both sides to the vanishing point. Some lines are solid. I was a little off there, but close. And then some have little dots. So here's our line that separates the 2 lanes. Now, let's somewhat, if they're a good driver, center the car more in the center of the lane. And basically, what you want to draw is like 2 blocks that are stacked on each other. So we'll draw the first one here. Don't make it too big. So we're going to just draw a small rectangle. And again, we're just drawing like a basic car. That's in 1-point perspective. I'm not going to go all the way. And you won't see much of this side. Very little. And so we have the front or back of the car. Now we need to draw the part where we see the people driving. Skip a little space here. Draw a little rectangle, almost centered. And come up a little bit. So we have our little rectangle here. Want to connect it to the vanishing point. You don't have to necessarily go all the way. And then we'll do the back end like so. Connect this to the vanishing point a little bit. So we have a small rectangular block on top of a little bit of a bigger one. Now to make it look more like a car, we just need to add some of those details. Details are very important. So if we're going to make this one look like this is the front of the car, so we need to add some headlights. And remember, it's just a basic car, so a couple of circles for the headlights. Try to keep them about the same. We should draw a little grill, which is just going to be a basic little rectangle. Uh, Also, a little license plate here in the front, which will be another little rectangle. If you want to try and add the letters and numbers in that license plate, feel free to. And then we can even add the lines of the hood. Now, if you're going to do that, make sure that they do also, go in perspective. Kind of be aware of where you're putting them. And there we have our hood. Now, once you get more comfortable with uh, drawing in perspective, it will get easier. You can even show the tire, which will be a little bit here. This on the side is going to be a little bit harder to see. And you can just shade that in. Same thing here. Now it looks like a basic car. Um, if you're wanting to add, the driver, you can add those little details later. Like maybe there's the steering wheel, um, a little bit of the dash, show one of the seats here. Don't forget the little rear view mirror, and the same thing on the sides, because most cars nowadays do have the little side mirrors. And you can draw a little face here. Don't forget the seat behind the driver. And, pretty much there's your basic car 1 point perspective. You can add more details if you want, you know, like the bumper. Um, and again, once you get better, if you want to make it a little more round, you can do that in final details. Right now, that's just kind of drawing a car 1 point perspective. Now, what if we want to draw a few people walking around? Uh, what you want to do is you want them a little bit smaller than the door. Uh, so, what I would normally suggest doing is kind of maybe first drawing a person's head. Now, it's just going to be a basic looking person without really all the details, almost kind of like one of those drawing mannequins. So I'm just going to do a basic shape of the head uh, about right here. So they're somewhat, shorter than the door. Um, give him a little neck, little round body, little waist, and I want to make it look like they're walking. So this leg is going to look like it's coming forward, while this one is kind of bent back just a little bit. And since this leg here is bent back, this arm should look like it's coming forward. And the other arm will just kind of draw the shoulder like it's walking back. Now, since we kind of have our first person, if you will lightly draw, just a couple of lines from the vanishing point. First one kind of top of their head, and then the other one kind of where their feet are. These two lines will probably help you keep the people walking on the sidewalk in perspective, because you're going to have some people back here. They should not be the same size as this one. This figure is closer to us, so it should appear bigger. The people that are, farther away should appear somewhat smaller. So let's just add another figure back here. Again, just kind of, and there, it's going to get a little bit harder to add some of the details, but here we have this person walking. Or they could just be standing there, but they are aligned with the tallness of this one. Now, of course, not everybody's the same height. You can always make adjustments. Like I'll put another person that's walking near this one, and I want to make them a little bit shorter, at least for where the head is. The feet, though, should basically end in the same area. Kind of like buildings, it doesn't matter how tall the person is, all the feet are in this same area on the ground. So a little pelvis here. Maybe this leg is coming forward, while this one is kind of more back. So this arm should go back, while this arm is coming forward. Okay. So we have, just basic figures that are walking on the sidewalk. We have our basic car, a name on a building that's in perspective. But hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you out, give it a like. Also, if you check more in the description, you'll find links to my social medias. If you have any questions or want to know something, you can let me know there. Simo says, be awesome to one another and get to creating.